My mother died when I was 12 years old. Father dumped me to someone's house, and that's why I am scared to have become a parent. But I am lonely. This is a fact, and there are so many people in this world who are lonely, which is
Okay.
not good a thing. So even I'm so healthy and into fitness, but my cortisol level is very high. My stress level is high because of that loneliness thing.
First and foremost, I want to congratulate you for saying out loud that you're lonely. Now, the stress and the anxiety and the feelings that you come from that loneliness, do you think are they helping your life or are they negatively impacting your life?
It's definitely not helping me.
Failure is like everything else in life, it's just between.
Never fail.
I need to know to get to where I want to go.
Welcome to another episode of the Feck It No More podcast. And in today's podcast, you're going to hear from Suki, an endurance athlete, a fashion model, and an author. Suki has pushed his physical and mental limits to the edge, where he has completed 200-mile ultra runs across Australia, among many other challenges. But he opens up about a different challenge today, the search for healing and deep connection. In this episode, you'll learn the power of resilience, how Suki transformed his childhood trauma into resilience whenever his mother passed away at a very young age, and where he says that he has been abandoned by his father. We'll also look at the breaking of cycles, how that has impacted his life, and how he makes those conscious efforts not to recreate those toxic environments in his own life. We also will talk about the I will versus I might mindset, and how we can apply it to certain areas of our lives, but not even think that we're missing out on other areas of our lives. I'm super excited to bring you this episode today, and I do want to just mention thank you all so much for the support since the beginning of this podcast. If you feel that in this episode or any other of our episodes there is a piece of information that can really help somebody you know get to a better place in life who are maybe going through a really hard time at the moment, please share the content with them. Let us know your thoughts. What are we doing well, and what would you really like to hear to help moving forward? So with that said, let's get into today's episode. Suki, welcome to the Feck It No More podcast. And I want to start by, just before I hand it over to you, maybe just saying that we had done this podcast a few weeks ago, and technical difficulties meant that we are now kind of redoing a different version of that. Do you want to jump in and introduce yourself for the people that's listening?
Thank you, Glenn, for having me here. Podcast. It's a real privilege. Hi, my name is Sukant Singh Suki, and I'm an endurance athlete and a fashion model. And I've also written 2 books called Limitless Humans and Chasing Genius. And I am doing High Rocks Bangkok this coming few days, and then I'm planning for a big run from Perth to Sydney, which I was talking to Glenn in the near future. Yeah, and I really enjoy endurance sports like Ironman, High Rocks, ultra marathons, and something what I'm working on is also try to do some other stuff here.
In our first podcast, you mentioned that there was an area of your life that you felt you needed to improve in. Can you just let us know what that is before we get into kind of talking deeper about that?
Relationship. I think for me, it's very, very important because quality of our life depends on relationship. And I cannot afford to have a toxic relationship, which I have struggled very blood with my since childhood, family and everything being in a very toxic place. So I had to get out of it. It's just, for me, it's very important. And I have seen all of endurance athletes around the world, like David Goggins or other places. They had horrible childhood and they're just fighting a battle doing all this. And he became the toughest man in the world. So I also got some recognition of toughest man in India, which was a privilege for me because it's a very big country. But I had a difficult childhood as well. For me, it's very scary to be a parent as well in today's world because it's a big responsibility. You can't just do bad things to your children. You can just easy to have a baby.
I could tell in our previous talk, Suki, while you have done a lot of things and while you have achieved many things in the endurance space and you've pushed yourself into the physical and mental limits. However, what stood out for me in the first discussion was kind of an off-the-cuff comment where you were like, I would like some life coaching around relationships, because you felt that because of your past, it was an area of your life that you maybe hadn't quite got right yet, or you were looking at improvement in. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for being brave enough to say that and to start facing that and to go, okay, if I want to be truly happy in all aspects of my life, not just the fitness and endurance space, then I need to make sure I focus on this area of my life as well. I just want to go back to the beginning, to your childhood, because I think a lot of the key to your secret in terms of relationships is built there. What we know is habits, behaviors, beliefs, we gain them over a period of time from our young childhood right through to the present day. Things that happen to us in life, things that we see, emotions that we feel, the stories we tell ourselves, they all get into ourselves. They're all make us part of who we are, and it can be really hard to change some of them. So that's where, even for yourself, not even so much for the listeners, let's go back to the early days with Suki and just explain a little bit about what's happening and what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, my mother died when I was 12 years old, and
Okay.
my father dumped me to someone's house after that, which was not a good thing to do. It's your child and you're small, you cannot throw your kid to somebody else's responsibility.
Yeah.
That was a very bad move, and that's why I am scared to have become a parent ever in future, because it's a crime against humanity. You cannot just have a baby and throw them. Mental growth, for example, even if you get divorced or something happens, I see such parents, single mother, single dad, how they struggle so badly, the child, because they are neither here neither there, and they are always struggling. So it helps their mental growth and everything. So I guess last time I mentioned you a story as well about three children committing suicide in India, and because of a Korean drama they were obsessed with, and the parents just snatch away the phone and iPad from them. So it's just that was their escape. So for me, my escape was running and swimming and other endurance sports. Otherwise, I went to one therapist, and when she heard my story and all, she said, you could have done drugs, you could have got alcohol, you could have done so much bad stuff, but you chose
Yeah.
sports to transform
Yeah.
your life. And
Yeah. So you took that negative experience and made it into a positive.
exactly. So I feel it's very important to have good relationship in this world, because we live in a very cruel world. There is war going on. There is jealousy, hatred, comparison on social media, on everywhere. Human emotions are there. So have you seen the Korean drama Squid Game? I mean, it became so
Yeah, I have
popular.
seen Squid Games.
It's
Yeah.
so big. So the basic lesson of that movie was that why it was a massive hit. To connect around the world is the same rule of, like, what most people enjoy is watching other people suffer. I mean, it's like you're killing people, and how can you enjoy people? So there is war going on. Maybe some people laughing who are living in a privileged part of the world, that how can someone dying or killing could be a happy thing. So it is so important to spread the message of kindness, compassion, and humanity, because
I totally agree.
I mean, you can't trust your own family. What kind of world we live in? You can't trust your workmates, you can't trust your.
So I want to just stop you because again, I want to make sure that we're focusing on the right thing for you, Suki. I agree with totally everything you say in terms of that mental health is important for every single person, and there's so much things happening in the world that aren't right, and that we should be able to do better as a human race. I totally agree with all of that. But I want to take you back because I could see by the way you were saying that that time period where your mother passed away, your father, as you said, left you with another family, and who does that to kid? I can see that has left a big imprint on the way you think about relationships and the way the expectation that you have of what a family dynamic should be. So let me ask you, what's your current age? What age are you?
Yeah, I'm 36.
So you're 36. And do you think has that experience that you've had on your life, that hard, difficult experience, has that affected you having relationships in the past and going on and maybe thinking about having kids and kids of your own in terms of meeting somebody, having a family and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, you are my role model in terms of Glenn having a family, because when I saw your family first time, and I was feeling, wow, so amazing family, and you are so lucky to have such things.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is that lucky to find such true love, and I wish I can have such a family as well in future, but I don't think I will ever have kids. This is also.
Okay. So you see that this is what I'm talking about. You've got this idea in your head now. You've told yourself, and this is the stories that I work with people every day on. They've told themselves, I don't think I'll ever have kids, and because of my past in the way that I have, which is perfectly understandable and perfectly normal. But let me ask your subconscious mind, would you like to have kids and a long-term relationship?
Maybe, but not sure yet. Not really,
Okay.
because it's a big responsibility, and I cannot afford to be a bad parent. It's a big responsibility.
What makes you think you would be a bad parent?
Because I will be always focused on myself, too much, and I have to make sure my partner also is focused on herself or on the kid, because you can't just leave on the partner, to take care of, because so it's a big responsibility, and I have
So,
seen a lot of successful people also. They are whom I consider role model. They don't have kids and they're super successful. So I feel it's possible for me as well. It's not a necessity to have, but I will never want, even if I have, I'll never want them to go through what I went through, right? Of course, you want to give them a good life, you're going to give them good education, good sports, good value system. So it's very, very
so
important.
I totally agree. If we have kids, we should put them first and we should give them the best of everything. Okay? They now become more important than us. Maybe kids we're still unsure about. That's fine. The relationship, a long-term relationship. Talk to me about your feelings on that.
It's very, very important for me, and because I don't believe in casual stuff, I believe in true relationship. And my true relationship was in Australia. I think I met in university. My proper first relationship went for 3 years. Unfortunately, we are not together anymore, but that kind of thing which I really believe might happen in future, it's very, very important for me, and it makes you complete, it makes you fulfilled, because everybody needs someone to hug, to kiss, to have dinner with. But most important is the trust thing. If you don't trust your own partner, if there's no, then what's the point of being together or living in the same house,
I totally agree. So I want to just spend a little bit of time right there because I've heard you say now a couple of times, I might find that right person or I might have kids, which that little word, it might be small, that might, but it's very powerful. That means that if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's what might means.
Yes.
But if you really want something, you just talked to me about running across from Perth to Sydney. I never once heard you say, I might do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You were like, I will do that because it was important.
Yes, correct.
So if you apply the same logic to a relationship with somebody who you've just said it's important and you would like to have it, but you added that little tiny important word might. So if I asked you on a scale of 1 to 10 for you to have a complete fulfilled life, whenever you look back in your life in 50 years time, you're sitting at 80, Suki. Let's do this. Imagine you're talking to 80-year-old Suki. He has achieved everything that he wanted in life. What's that life look like? What has he achieved?
That's a great question. I was in Goa recently and I met a British couple. They are married for 41 years together.
Okay. Yeah.
So when they told me, I felt so good. He said I didn't achieve much in my career in anything, but he said I was a hippie. He said I was a hippie traveling the world doing nothing. But I said whatever, you didn't achieve anything, but you had a successful marriage for 41 years, which is such a big deal in today's world. It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Most people in the world miss on that, so it's very big. First of all, being alive for such a long time, and then 41 years of relationship, very big achievement, very big achievement. It's more achievement than running from Perth to Sydney, because even I'm confident about that which you said, but I might, because I'm not confident about relationship because of my past, because it's not easy to find love in a dating app or on social media or anywhere, because people have agendas. Even I see here, it's such a competitive place where people want to be with you for a reason, and they are not with you for nothing. If either they want your money or sex or your network or whatever, just that. So if you find true love, you're very lucky, man. So that 41 years of relationship, if you have, or Glenn, you have amazing relationship, it's a big achievement, man. It's a big achievement.
Yeah. Look, Suki, I can tell by the way you talk about relationships. This is something that you would really want in your life. Am I wrong? Is that 80-year-old Suki, whenever you look at them, and I want you to really focus on this, feel free to close your eyes, keep your eyes open, whatever helps. But I want you to imagine that 80-year-old Suki who has achieved everything he wants in life. What has he achieved? Answer those questions. If you now are standing behind him, or maybe you're sitting down talking to him, what has he achieved, that 80-year-old Suki?
Yeah, I mean, relationship wise, you're asking, or you're asking career wise, or
I'm asking just an open question. You're the one that's talking to 80-year-old Suki. Ask him what he's achieved.
Yeah,
Ask
so
him what
my
he.
biggest achievement would be if I have a relationship for that long, a partner
Okay.
whom I love and share the same interest, passion, career, everything. We are fitness models. We are basically both have similar interests. So
Yeah. Okay.
it was
So you can see how out of everything he could have achieved and all the success he could have had, that's where your mind went to. So it's important to you. Now you've got a challenge because
money. Money is important. Of course, I want to be rich when I'm 80, and I want to have a good relationship. I want good health. I want to have six pack abs even when I'm 80. I should be good looking as well. So if I am able to achieve that thing, and maybe I have written, when I'm 80, I've written 90
another few
books
books.
or some lot of books, because I met one guy I heard in Australia. He wrote 365 books in 365 days. My God, I read about him on New York Times. I said I have written just two books that all self. He self-published all of them. So anything doing it, it's
Okay.
very
But
important.
I want to stop you there for a second, right? Because now what you're doing, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but whenever you start getting close to the important thing, the relationship, you start going off on a sidetrack.
Sorry about that.
I want to just focus on you and your thoughts, your feelings, your emotion. What's stopping you from going on and having a really strong, lasting relationships?
There's nothing stopping me, like relationship with the partner, right? You mean the partner, right? Yeah, so I am still single, and you don't buy in the street. You don't meet on dating app, as I told you. It should be the love you find is very rare in this world. So if you find it, I have found once before and I missed the bus. If I find again someone meet, then why not? I mean, I would be for there together.
So, but the way you've said that, I want to call you out on this because it's important, right? Sometimes we think that life will happen. Life's meant to be. This will just happen if it's meant to be. And that might be true or it might be false. I have no way of proving it. But what I do know for sure is that if we focus on an area of our life that we want to improve, we improve it. So if you actually put focus and intention into finding the right person, having a relationship, and that might mean you might have to go through a few people that aren't right. And that might mean that you have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. But unless you're intentionally focused on, I will find the right relationship, I will put the hard work in that I need to do to find the right relationship, it may or may not never happen. Does that make sense? Have I said that? Have I said that right where it lands?
Yeah.
Because let's say now, I'm sorry for going back to the running, but it's what we comfortable, it's what we know. Let's say that you said, I might run across Australia someday. I might run across from Perth to Sydney. If you just say I might, or if it happens, it happens. What's the chances of that happening?
Because that is not a joke. You can't just get up. You have to make up your mind. You prepare. It's a very big campaign and plan.
No, but again, listen to my question. 2 seconds. If you say it may or it may not happen, it might happen. If you say them things without putting any energy or effort into it, what's the chances of it actually happening? Out of 100%, 0 to 100%, what percentage would you say you have if you just say it might happen, or let's see if it happens? What's the chances of it happening?
See, for me, it's if I want something really bad, I will do anything to get that. For me, it's very, very important. So just back to last year, the race, the earliest West. In 94 hours, finishing that was, I finished it, and I knew it how desperate I was to finish it. I had to do it, and I didn't, because I had committed to someone here, and I know that person was tracking me, and expectation was there. So failure was not an option. Same thing running from Perth to Sydney. If I commit to someone and make a plan and invest money and everything, I have to do it anyhow. You die, but you have to finish.
Okay.
Because you have made a commitment to someone. So for me, same is relationship. If I commit to my partner or anything, we will be together till 80 years together. That's the commitment I believe, but it's very hard to meet such kind of people.
Okay. So again, let me stop you because I know what you're saying. You're saying to me, once you commit to something, you see it through. But what's stopping you committing to finding a relationship? And I'm only talking about finding a relationship. Because let's face it, the chances of you finding one relationship and getting that perfect person the first time or second time is very slim. You might be lucky. I was lucky. I got it after about the fourth. I was very lucky. I'm happy to hold my hands up. I was extremely lucky to find my partner so young after about the fourth attempt. However, other people might take 5, 10, 15, 20, 100. It doesn't matter. But if you're committed to finding that person, you said you would do anything. But you're at this stage, it doesn't sound like you're committed. It sounds like you might be committed. And we already talked about might. What is stopping you from being committed to finding people, no matter how hard it is? What is stopping you? Because something's stopping you being committed to finding that person, or you would have done it. You've already told me once you put your mind to something, you do it.
Of course, yeah.
So what do you think is stopping you?
For example, if I have found love or if I have a partner right now, why will I ever leave? Why will I not commit? I will commit, right? But I haven't found it. I found it before, which got screwed up, and I know how important that thing was for me and for my growth and for my life. So I regret so much, and it's not my fault as well. There's something else went wrong to that, but there was interference from the other sides. So I feel, yeah, it's a very difficult question to answer, Glenn.
I know. That's why we're going to take a little moment and think about it, because it's a really important question for you to answer, Suki. If you really say that this is what something you want to work towards and you want to have in your life, you need to be intentional. You need to focus on it. You need to ask the hard questions, and you need to allow yourself time to think about it. So if you were to go, okay, is it my last relationship that's maybe holding me back from being active and taking action and finding a new one? Is it my childhood? Is it the fear of finding the right person, maybe having to have children? Is it, but unless you start getting curious about what's stopping you from taking action, so you know more than anybody that taking action is the most important part. But if I asked you over the last month, what action did you take to try and find that right person? What would you tell me?
What action did I take to find the right person?
Yeah, you probably didn't take much action. You're probably busy doing other things.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't, because I put my focus. If it's meant to be, it will meant to be happen, right? So
okay. So I want to call you out.
But I am lonely. This is a fact, and there are so many people in this world who are lonely, which is not good a thing, because
so
smoking cigarettes a day, So even I'm so healthy and into fitness, but my cortisol level is very high. My stress level is high because of that loneliness thing, maybe. Because that's why I'm struggling with weight as well. So I feel, it's very important to have a right person.
So thank you for very much for sharing that, Suki. That's important for you to say out loud that you are lonely.
Of course, there are millions of people lonely. I was doing this experiment, Glenn. I'll tell you, in Sydney, in Korea, I did this experiment before my races. If you're feeling lonely today, grab a rose for free. This kindness experiment.
Yeah.
And so many people turned up, they hugged me and they took a rose. So in UK, there's a minister for loneliness, Glenn, There's a minister. In India, Mumbai, there are 26 million people, more than the population of Australia and New Zealand, and they are all lonely. Rich, poor, everyone, I've seen them.
So again, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you for saying out loud that you're lonely, right? First and foremost, because that's saying to your head, I'm lonely. Now, the stress and the anxiety and the feelings that you come from that loneliness, do you think, are they helping your life or are they negatively impacting your life?
It's definitely not helping me.
Okay.
But also not impacting me negatively, because it's better to be lonely than to be with the wrong person. Some people,
I agree with that.
They are so lonely that they go for the wrong person because they are just so desperate, to want to have dinner with or to sleep with. They are just so it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong person.
Okay. While I agree with what you've just said, it's better to be with lonely than be with the wrong person. I totally agree with that, right? First and foremost, you have to be with somebody that's making you happy. You have to be with somebody that supports you. You have to be with somebody that you can support. You have to be with somebody that you can share everything with. I agree with that, right? But you just said that it's definitely holding you back, but it's not negatively maybe impacting you. I think if something's holding me back from going to where I want to get to, then logically it's negatively impacting me. Okay. Now, having anxiety and having that loneliness and that in your life, that is something that, as you said, millions of people are suffering with. And I'm no relationship expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I would like to think that I have done a lot of work with people in results and trying to get certain results in their life. And what I know for sure is if you're lonely and you want to change that, then you have to take some sort of action to do that. Now, I've just noticed the way you said a thing a couple of times where you mentioned you have to find the right person. Whenever you're saying that out loud to yourself, and I see this in all different aspects of life. I see this in leadership or business where people think they have to be the very best. They have to get the really highest standard. I see it in other aspects of their fitness life where they think they have to be as fit as possible and they have this image of what fitness looks like. And because that bar is so high and so stretched, they're nearly paralyzed with doing anything about it because they think they can never find that person or they can never achieve that target or that goal. Let me ask you, would you say you've set a very high standard for the partner that you're looking in life?
Not really a very high standard, but I know what kind of people I get attracted to and who are my type. I know it very, very well. So
Okay.
a different kind of attraction happens when I know people from certain region, part of the world, or certain passion and all. So I'll tell you a story. I was in Philippines for a few months, 2 years ago, I think last year. I was training for unreasonable east there because there's better environment for training. In Queensland, I did that 325-kilometer run in 105 hours, and I could have not trained for that race in India. I know because there's lack of infrastructure. So when I was part of this running club in Manila, and these all guys were models and athletes. I felt a sense of belonging. How they were. It was also like a dating club. That run club
Yeah.
was like a dating club. And I
Yeah.
met some amazing people. Unfortunately, you have to live in the country if you want to be together. But I felt a different sense of belonging there because I knew
Yeah.
these people are my type. They have the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
passion. They have self-love, self-care routine. They love their body. They love their mind. They eat healthy food and they have a very healthy lifestyle, and they are just into books, podcast, everything right thing they're doing. So they're not into nightclubs or drinking, smoking, drugs. They're
Yeah.
so completely my type of people. Their whole routine was swimming, cycling, running every day. Swimming, cycling, running. That's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have some kind of small business for a living, or they do some modeling stuff or any other stuff they do. And I felt, wow. So I know my type. Such kind of people, if I meet, definitely I get attracted to.
Okay. What I want to just make sure, and the reason I asked this question is that if your type of person is so high that it's only 2% of the population, that narrows a lot of what you can do, right? If your type of person is somebody that you maybe haven't even thought of yet, or you haven't even experienced yet, and it widens that kind of pool that you can choose from. Have you ever heard of the red car theory, Suki? Have you ever heard of the red car theory?
No, what is
No.
it?
Okay. So you've maybe heard of it different, but the theory of the red car is that whenever we intentionally focus on something, we start to see it everywhere, right? Now, I'm sure there was a time in your life where you didn't know anything about ultra running. You didn't know anything about endurance sports. It was totally alien to you. As soon as you heard about it and it piqued your interest and you were like put intention on it, then you started to see all these races, all these people, all these kind of things everywhere, I'm sure, because you were thinking on it. And the red car theory is very much the same. As soon as you go looking for a red car, it can be any color of car, but let's call it a red car. Once you start looking for them, you start noticing them everywhere. They've always been there, but you haven't been looking for them. Or it also applies to certain types of cars or certain things. Let's do a little experiment, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to close your eyes, right? And I want you to look around. I know you can't see much behind me, But look around the room that you're in, okay? And you live in that room, so you probably know it fairly well. But look around that room, and I want you to see everything that's the color black, right?
Everything that is black.
Yep. I want you to really focus on it. Make sure you get everything. Don't miss any black stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of black stuff here.
Okay. Good. Okay. Whenever you're done, just come back.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Now what I want you to do
Sorry?
is what I want you to do is just tell me everything that's purple in your apartment without looking. Just tell me everything that's purple.
Purple. Without looking, you said? Without looking, how can I say?
Okay. So you see what happened? You were looking for black. You were focused on looking for black and you missed all the purple.
Yeah, of course.
So whenever we start focusing on what we're looking for,
Yeah,
we can see it.
yeah,
Whenever we're not focused on it, we don't see it. Does that make sense? Now,
yeah.
you maybe seen stuff in the room and you thought, oh, that looks black. I'm gonna take that as black. It's maybe a gray or an off black, but you're like, oh, I'm gonna use that as black because you thought the more black things you could get, the better it was. Yet you didn't think at all about purple stuff. And that's what intentional focus is. That's what the red car theory is. Whenever you start looking for something, you will start finding it everywhere, Suki. The world is full of, and I'm guessing we're talking about your partner as a female from what you've said.
Of course.
But you will start noticing if you're intentionally looking for a partner and you're intentionally looking for somebody that you can spend your life with, you will start noticing them a lot more whenever you're intentionally looking for it than if you're never doing it. If it's something that you really want to add to your life and make sure that that's part of that 80-year-old Suki, I would say unless you put some intention into it, it is never going to happen. Or it might happen. Let's use the word might. It might happen. But that means it also might not. 50-50 chance. It's not great odds if you ask me. Does that make sense? I suppose what I'm saying, if this is something that you want, and maybe you're going, Glenn, do you know what? I have so much going on in my life, I just can't do it right now. I don't want that person in my life right now. But then I would counter you on that and say, well, if you're lonely right now, why would you not be looking for that partner right now? Now I can see you smiling because that's a little light bulb moment. So let me ask you again, what stops you from putting that intention in to find the right person, Suki?
You got a difficult one, Glenn. Is this podcast just about relationship?
No. Look, again, for me, it's not about relationship. We can apply this to absolutely anything in your life. There'll be people out there that'll be listening to this and they'll be thinking, I want more money in my life. I want more fitness in my life.
Exactly.
So regardless of what you want in life,
Yeah.
if you're not putting focus into attaining it, if you're not looking at what habits, what behaviors are stopping me from getting it, what habits, what behaviors do I need to get it? If you're not looking at them things, you're not moving in the right direction where you want to go. Does that make sense? Yes, this conversation is about relationships because that's what you told me was important to you. That's what the 80-year-old Suki said was important to him. But the actual principles apply to anything, Suki. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, and it makes sense to you because you know if I want to run that race, I have to get up. I can think about doing a race. I can think, do you know what? I'd love to run 200 miles. I'd love to do it. But unless you get up off your ass and you do the training, unless you get up off your ass and you go and you put in the work and you take the action, you don't get to that race. You don't finish that race.
Of course. It's
And
like
unfortunately,
suicide without going to commit suicide. Yeah.
and relationships is the exact same, Suki. Unless you get up and you put the energy into going and finding the right person, unless you get up and you take the action of putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, maybe like the race, you might get it wrong the odd time, you might meet the wrong person, you might have to find somebody else. But unless you take the action, you've got less chance of achieving it. In fact, I would say you've got very little chance of achieving it. So I don't know. Tell me how that sits with you after that little bit of a conversation. What stands out for you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, you said it, everything.
Now, I'm one of these people that think, okay, if I want to do something and I have to take action, then I need to figure out what action I need to take, right? So I'll ask you a couple of questions and this will give you some insight. to yourself on what you should do. The first question I would be is, in a perfect world, if you could just make things happen, what would be the timeline that you would want to have a relationship? Don't give me, if it happens, it may happen, or any of that. If I said to you, when's the best time for you to find the perfect person in your life that you can spend the rest of your life with, what timeline would you say?
Now, I mean, yeah, there's no timeline. This could be any time. If you meet, I won't miss the bus again, which I did before. And
Okay.
university is the best place to meet people. You always meet and you see a lot of success stories there. So that potential partner, which I missed it because it was complete made for each other thing. That thing is, and it's very hard to find in today's world, that
Yeah.
kind of relationship.
And I'm not, I don't ever want to take away the fact that it's hard to do it, Suki. Okay. I know there'll be people listening out there and they'll be saying, he's found somebody, he's there, I'm still looking, I haven't done it. I don't want to take away that hard factor whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you just said the time that you would really want to do it is now. Now, you could have said it could be 6 months, it could be a year down the line, it could be 5 years. You could have said all them things, but you said, I want it now. So again, this is your subconscious mind contradicting itself slightly.
Yeah.
It may or may not happen, but I want it now. So again, if you want it now, then you need to figure out, which leads me on to the second question. What action do you need to take to give you the best possible chance of finding people now?
Yeah, go to events, meet people. I'm going for High Rocks. I'm going to meet a lot of people, from around the world. And it's such a good community, High Rocks, people who are male, female, both. So a lot of couples do it who are really into fitness, so much healthy lifestyle they live. And I get attracted to them. I mean,
Yeah.
so you never know. I might meet someone there, It's
Okay. So again, if you go with the red car theory and you go there and you're looking for black, which means you're not looking for a relationship at all, and then you should be looking for purple, which is the relationship, which gives you the best chance of finding somebody? Which mindset?
Yeah, but you don't go there fishing, you go there for a purpose, you do it.
So
You meet, you don't meet, but you have to keep, even
So
in the
again,
flight, I met a lady on the flight. I was coming actually from Delhi to Mumbai, and this air hostess, I was really attracted to her, and we exchanged email, but she told me she has a boyfriend, and
okay.
so
And that-
that's fine. So it's very important to, I try to approach the person I get attracted to. If you're not attracted to, what's the point?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
No,
I was in the cafe recently, and these two girls left their number and email to the waiter. When we went second time, I was surprised. I was with one guy, and they left their number. We were chatting, and then they left their number to call. But I didn't call them
Why did you not call?
because I was not into them. I knew they are not my type. You just chatted is fine, but
Okay.
I don't want to waste time or anything. So I have to be completely sure. I know very well what is my type. I know
So
very
again, I'll remind you of physical attraction is very important. Don't get me wrong.
exactly.
You have it,
Exactly, very very important, and plus,
but
it's
I would definitely say it's not everything, Suki, because
exactly, yeah, exactly,
trust me, life gets old. We all get older. We're all going to change appearance wise.
yeah,
And what your initial attraction might have been may not be the thing that you really cherish about the person years later. So, yes, physical attraction is one. Make sure that first and foremost, you're focused on trying to find a relationship. But I always like to, before I wrap up with any client in the first session, I always like to leave with an action list, because we know it's the action that is the most important thing.
correct.
So the action list would have to be for you, what is the action that you would have to commit to in order to give you the best possible chance of finding a relationship? And don't give me no wishy-washy stuff of if it happens, it might happen, because that's bullshit. Give me things that you can actually do that increase your chance of finding that relationship.
Again, I am not able to answer this question.
No. You are able to. You've just said I'm not able to, which is your subconscious mind saying it's uncomfortable, it's too difficult, I don't want to do it, Glenn. But you can answer. You're a clever guy, Suki. You've read books. You've run 100-mile marathons. You're a clever guy. You can answer this simple question: what do you need to do in order to increase your chance of finding a relationship in the short term or in the near future, whatever title you want to do it?
Yeah, try to meet people,
Not try. So
Yeah.
try gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
You must meet people.
Yeah.
You must meet people. First and foremost. Now that can be online, it can be on dating apps, it can be face to face, it can be there's millions of ways you can meet people. But that has to be your intention. Okay, if I want a partner, I must meet people. So that's one thing. I totally agree, and I think that's an important one. You must meet people. Is there anything else that you need to do or that you're going to focus on doing between now and the next time we catch up? And I'd love to catch up and continue this story in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time if you're up for it, or a month's time. But what do you need to do in the near future as well as meet people? What else might you need to do? What action do you need to take? Let's use the action word because you identify with that. You know that. You said earlier on it was you'd talk to somebody on a bus. So imagine that you're trying to get a bus and you take no action at all. You just sit here. Are you going to get that bus or are you going to miss that bus?
Yeah, I'm going to take the bus.
You're going to miss the bus if you just sit there. If you take the action and you get up and you walk to the bus stop, you're going to get the bus. But if you sit and think about it, I must get the bus, you ain't getting that bus. It's the action part that gets you what you want. So the action, you said you're going to take action, you're going to force yourself to meet more people on whichever that looks like for you. What else do you?
I know my type very well, right, Glenn? And the people I get attracted. So it has to be that person only, right? Otherwise, there are a lot of wrong kind of person you don't want to meet and waste your time, energy, and everything.
What's the worst can happen if you meet the wrong person and you really don't like them? What's the worst thing that happens, Suki?
You're just wasting your energy and time and everything. It's nothing. Just
what's the positives of meeting the wrong person?
Positive of meeting the wrong person, you get to learn a lesson. That's it.
Okay, you get to learn a lesson, right? Now, I would stop trying to think about right type, wrong type. I must meet the right type. You might meet the right type by meeting the wrong person. You might meet the wrong person that you have in your mind and think this is the wrong person for me, but you might meet that person and fall completely head over heels. And you might have missed out on the best opportunity of your life because you limited to what you thought you needed. Does that make sense?
Correct.
So I want to be very open with you. If I was you, I'd be just starting to meet people and then talking to people and seeing where that connection is, seeing where the similarities is, seeing if there's a potential for anything to grow or happen there. But again, it's taking the action, because if I tell myself, do you know what? There's a certain type of weather it has to be before I'm going to run a marathon. There's a certain type of food has to line up. There's a certain type of shoe that I must wear. If there's all these certain things that has to happen, they can turn out to be excuses for me to just go, do you know what, I'm not going to do it. This isn't the right time for me. It's not the right fit. It's not important. So try not to put too many limitations on yourself. What we're talking about is action points that you can take. So you must meet people, but in order for you to do that, you need to be in the right circumstances. You need to put yourself in the right positions. Would that make sense? So like you said, figuring out what I would do, and this is what I'd recommend to anybody, whether it's meeting people or whether it's any other aspect of their life. I would sit down and I would go, okay, what are the things that's been stopping me from doing this? What has been putting me off? What is it that I want to achieve? And then what steps do I need to take it? Now, you could say to me, Glenn, do you know what? Whenever I was doing ultra run and I reached out, I grabbed a coach, I went and done research into how to do it. I figured out what nutrition I should have. I did all them things. Well, that same logic would apply to meeting people. If you research the best ways on how you can meet people, if you can research the best ways to interact with people, the best ways to make a relationship last, if you research and put all that action and energy and effort into learning them skills, that increases your chance again of doing it. So I would stop and I would ask myself, okay, what's the 1 or 2 or 3 things that I can really start focusing on putting action in to get me to what I want to achieve. Does that make sense? Have I got a commitment from you that you're going to put the energy into this part of your life that you want to change and you want to improve?
Yes, of course.
Don't say it if you don't mean it.
Yeah. No,
Now, you told me where you are is you're lonely,
yeah,
and you told me where you want to go is you want a relationship. So, yeah, certainly what we've just talked about and the work that we've just done still stands true, and it still stands important to you because you told me it was important. Does that make sense?
yeah,
So I encourage you to put your big boy pants on, to go out there and to start trying to meet people, Suki, because it is important to you. I know you think that the ultra running and the modeling and everything else is really important to you. That is important, and being healthy and having a good mental health, that they're all important stuff. But I can tell that you are lonely and you do want to find somebody.
yeah.
And I also know that if you don't put the effort and the energy into doing that, it won't happen. It might happen, but might's a very small little word. Or are you okay committing to, I'm going to put the energy in and I'm going to put myself out there in uncomfortable positions to try and find that relationship that I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Even if it means not finding the right person and finding somebody that, and learning from it and then moving on to the next one and seeing what you can think. But your end goal hasn't changed. Your end goal is to find the long-term relationship. So leaving you, I just want you to do 3 things. I want you to ask yourself, what is holding you back? And I'll send you an email. What's the habits and the behaviors, or what's the stories you're telling yourself that is stopping you from taking action to do it? Then I want you to focus on, what action am I going to take? What does that look like for you? What do I need to do? And third and lastly, if you don't mind, I would love to hear your progress in this space in the next month or so. If you come on and you tell me, Glenn, this is what I've done, this is what's working, this is not what I'm working. Because what you'll find, and quite often what I find working with people, is after the first session and after we've talked about these things and after they've opened their mind up enough, they'll start getting ideas, thoughts. And if you just note them down, and I'm very much happy to talk about them, because you might tell me, Glenn, there's actually, after our last chat, there's something else stood out that I think this is important and this is I want to talk about. And I'm happy going there. But again, I encourage you to put the focus into achieving what you want to achieve. Thank you very much for being so open and honest, okay? If you know somebody that will get the benefit of some of the information in this, please share it with them. Our biggest challenge, as I mentioned to James before the show, is not the value of the information that we have. It's being able to expand that reach, to grow our community so that people can hear the information that they need, so they can get the help that they need. If you're currently out there and you're really going through a hard time, you're not quite sure what to do next, please hit the link in the booking notes below. Make an appointment. Let's have a chat. If you think, Glenn, it's not going to work for me, no issues at all. If you think, Glenn, I'd like to come on, I'd like to share my story, I'd like to be able to get some support along that journey from yourself and from the community, we'd love to hear from you. And again, we're going to jump into the boring legal part. I am not a registered mental health expert. My formal training is from results coaching, so I can help people get from where they are to where they want to go. What I do have is 20 years of personal development experiences where I've listened to all the experts, where I've read countless books to help my life improve and get me to a better place. And for the last few years, I've been helping others get from where they are to where they want to go. And now we're taking this on a bigger stage and we need your help. But always remember, this is your life. You're in control. You make the decisions. Thanks for listening, and I hope you're well.